welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peachy and this channel is all about my Sylvanian families collection. For today's video I've got another fun vintage set to show you. That is the pleasure boat here, and you can see it's by Flair. This set is also sometimes referred to as the Marita May. That's the name of the ship, which you can see just on the picture on the front here. This set was released around about 2012. And as far as I'm aware was a UK exclusive, but it might have also gone into other markets where Flair was distributing. As you can see on the box, this set was marketed to go with the Henry Lloyd Chocolate Dalmatian family, who have a very nautical theme to their clothing. And I got this particular one secondhand on eBay. It is missing some of the small pieces, so when we take a look at that, I'll point out which bits and pieces are missing or replacements. But the bulk of the stuff is there, and I got it for a really good price, which is always great. So taking a quick look at the box, and this is quite a big one. You can see my hand there for scale. Distributed by Flair, which I mentioned, it comes with over 30 pieces, and the whole front section is this nice big image of the boat. Then on the top of the box, we can see the inside. So the boat folds out like this, and there's a couple of images showing you how that all works. On the back of the box, we've got that image again, just a bit bigger, and it's got the Flair era Sylvanian family blurb just there. And then it's got some points here. So it says, a beautiful old-fashioned wooden style boat that gently cruises up and down the rivers and waterways of Sylvania, and even out to sea. The Marita May unfolds to create different decks and play areas with lots of storage compartments. There are especially designed areas for fishing, cooking, sleeping, and sitting. Comes with boating accessories, and then in big block capitals, this item is not to be played with in water. You can see just on this image here, this was marketed to go with the smaller set, which is Ingrid's rowboat. So it says cable and hoops included with pleasure boat to attach to the rowing boat and accessory set. Rowing boat and accessory set sold separately. And then this one just here says take the wheels and navigate the waterways of Sylvania. That's this one just here. I think it was out of shot. So lots of nice scene setting on the back. On this side of the box, we've got another nice setup image from a different angle. And on the other side, we've got it the other way around, just showing all the different angles of the boat. And then on the bottom, we have the flat lay image that shows everything that comes in the box. And also the warnings, and that warning again about not playing with the item in water. And then in this bit of text here, you can see the copyright 2012. This is not the first big boat we've had in Sylvania. There is, of course, the iconic Rose of Sylvania canal boat from 1993, shown here. And then afterwards as well, we have the Seaside Cruiser houseboat, which is this one here. And that was first released in Japan in 2014. And that one kind of has a similar vibe to this one in that it looks more like a yacht and it folds out. Then we've also had a number of smaller rowboats and little inflatable boats and things like that, canoes over the years. And then coming out in August, this video might not be out before this item has released, but there's this new little steam, almost like paddle boat set that comes with the Seal Mother as the captain. So quite a few boats throughout the years. Taking the item itself out of the box, here is the lovely Marita May. You can see it's got a nice amount of detail on it, these lovely wooden style decks, railings all around. It's got an upper deck and a kind of lower deck and a back deck as well. Some nice portholes, some of them are stickers, some of them are moulded in. And this is without any of the accessories on at the moment. If I turn it this way around, you can see the fold out action like so. And then here's the baggie with all the accessories in and also a ladder. But this is what the inside looks like. There's essentially a kind of living area and a kitchen area. So in terms of accessories, let's put the ones on the outside first. So there's two of these lovely life preserver or rings, the red and white colours, and they clip onto either side on these little triangle pieces here. So So there's one, and then there's also one on the other side like so. And they fit on there pretty snugly, so I don't think you need to worry too much about them coming off. Then in the back area, there's these two seat cushion pieces. These go onto these pieces here, which could be used as storage. So you've got one on there and one on there, just to brighten that up a little bit. Then here there is a flag piece, and it's got the cute Sylvanian rabbit head silhouette on it. Just clips into there like so. There's also the hook and rope piece mentioned, which can be used to connect to that other set. Pop that to one side for now. And we also have two fishing rods with fish on them, so they're exactly identical, so I'll show you one close up. Got the rod and then the fish tied on the end. And these actually have places to slot in the back of the boat, so you can have them just dangling off the back without having to worry about keeping them propped up, which I think is a nice touch. Then there's also a mop for mopping the deck. This is very reminiscent of the Tomy era way that these were created with the fabric heads. And of course a bucket to be able to hold the water to do the mopping. Now I think this is a replacement piece. I think the one that actually came in this set was either silver or a very light blue, but the mould seems to be the same. And there is also an extra little fish who you could say has been caught, so I guess you could use the bucket for that as well, for keeping the caught fish in. There should be two of these, but I only have the one here. So I'll pop him in the bucket for now and put this out on the deck. Very important items next. Comes with two life jackets, and I think these are child size, but we'll get a figure and try them on in just a second. You get two of these, and these are fabric construction with Velcro at the neck. They're nicely padded. You can feel there's a little bit of stuffing in there, and then they have this elastic piece to hold them around the waist. So let's get a figure and try these on. So I've grabbed Sarah to help us demonstrate. So in theory, I think it just Velcros behind the neck. And then this piece would go over her waist to hold her in. And then I think I put it on slightly wonky and trapped one of her arms behind the life vest. But you get the idea. Definitely for the child size. I think it would probably fit the adults as well, but I think it might be a little bit tight on them. Definitely too big for any figure smaller than the brother and sister size. And then finally for the outside pieces, we have this ladder piece. Now this is to attach to the side of the boat. Probably not there, but maybe at the back here or more towards the front like so. Hooks over the boat so that they can get on and off like a gangplank. Just while we're here, I'll show you the piece up here. There's nothing to go up there, but this little steering wheel turns round, and it's also very nautically themed. And then there's also a sticker here with some dials and such on, and the little lever to make the boat go. Nicely detailed. But now let's move on to the pieces for the inside. So I guess these could be inside or outside, but there's a little pair of binoculars. A nice bright red colour with the elastic to put them around the neck. It would probably be nice to have some detail here to call out the lenses, but they're a fun accessory nonetheless. Then we do have some paper pieces. So there's these board games. So we have chess, we have some sort of counter game and another kind of counter game. These are fun, good for setting up in scenes, especially if the kids are playing in the kind of living room space. This can also fold out to be a bedroom space, and it doesn't come with any sleeping bags or anything like that, but you could definitely put some in from either the caravan or make your own bedding to go here and just make this a little bit cozier. Whilst we're on the topic of paper pieces, I have one of the original paper pieces, which is this Waterways Map Route 2. And you can see some familiar names on here like Underwood and Kenilworth. This is just one-sided. Now, this should have also come with a Waterways Map Route 1 and also a Map of Sylvania piece, but it only came with this one. And then 2 substitute pieces, which I'm not going to sniff at because I love the Sylvanian newspapers. So it did come with 2 of those, which was a nice addition considering it's missing the other pieces. So we've got 2 copies of the Sylvanian Times, and they are different ones. I'm very curious as to why he was so disappointed now. Treasure was just a broken box. But I love that these are actually readable and such, so they're definitely good for the living room for some reading material as they're travelling along. All the rest of the pieces are to go in the kitchen, so I thought we'd zoom in a little bit and have a look at what comes as standard with the kitchen. So it's got this cute backsplash sticker all the way around and a clock. Then it's also got this sink piece and an oven and hob. So the oven's just here, and that does open up like so. There's also an open shelf here and 2 drawers just over here that could be used for storage. I like that there's a differentiation in the floor as well. So if we have a look at the living room, it's kind of a wood paneling floor. And then in the kitchen, it's tiles in a different colour with a nice border around it as well. These older sets really did have such attention to detail in the buildings. So for the kitchen, we have a teapot. Of course, standard, can't have a Sylvanian kitchen without a teapot. And this is one of the ones I think that would go on the hob to heat up. Then for cooking, we have 2 cooking utensils. We have a frying pan. And we also have a saucepan. So this is really a very fully stocked kitchen we've got going on here. I'm going to pop those under there for safekeeping. To go with those, we have a ladle and spatula. These are the very standard moulds in this nice silver metallic colour. We're going to pop those in the sink for now, just to stop them falling on the floor. And then there is a piece I'm missing, the other part to this lid, which is kind of a crock pot. So that's a piece I'll be looking to replace at some point, but at least I have the lid. But that could probably go on the stove over here. Then you might have noticed there's a towel rail just here, and I am missing the towel piece, but those are quite easily replaced. So I'll pop a different towel on there at some point. Then we also have a toaster. I love the Sylvanian toasters, they're so cute. This is a nice black and silver one. 2 slots in there, but unfortunately I am missing the other slice of bread, so only 1 person for toast at a time. Put it around this way. It's not quite so obvious though, so I'm going to pop that over there and hopefully find a replacement piece of toast at some point. Then the final few bits, there are 4 plates. These are just a very standard white plate mould, all the same. Oh, and I've thrown one on the floor already. I might pop these in the drawers to keep them safe when they're going along on the river. Then to go with the 4 plates, 4 cups. These are a nice red colour. Again, they're all identical and they're just in a very mug-shaped mould. Very fiddly to stand them up. Just pop them over there. And then finally we've got cutlery. So it's 4 knives, 4 forks in this style. I think one of mine forks might be a replacement, as I've got 3 of these kind of wider ones and 1 thinner one. So I think these are the ones that probably originally came with this piece, but for knives and forks, they look so similar. I'm not really fussed about that. And that's all the accessories that it came with. And to finish off, I've just closed the boat back up again, but you can see nicely the kitchen through the window for the setup. And I've grabbed the Henry Lloyd family just so you can get an idea of the scale with figures on it. And something I forgot to show you is this at the front. So this lifts up and there's a little storage area in there, which is really good because you can keep the accessories in there to keep them safe. Now, something I did notice on the box is that the accessories look different. So the teacups are like red and white, and there's more detail on the kettle and the lid of the crock pot and such, and red handles on the ladle. And I think this is another case where the items that are shown pictured here aren't the actual ones that came with the set. They must have been changed since the promotional pictures were taken. So I've watched a couple of unboxings and had a look at other people's setups of the set, and they all seem to come with the accessories that I have. So I don't think the final versions actually came with these accessories, or maybe there were multiple production runs of this boat and the original ones had these and then the later ones have the accessories that I've shown you today. So that's just an interesting little curiosity that happens with the Sylvanian range sometimes. I can't remember in what order I filmed videos now, so whether I've mentioned it or not, that I'm currently working on a kind of riverside canal setup on my big table, and it's taking much longer than I'd anticipated. It's been quite a busy time, so I haven't had so much time to dedicate to that as I would have liked, but I'm getting there slowly, and this will of course be another great addition to that waterways scene. But that's all for today's video. Let me know what you think of this set in the comments. Do you have it? Do you like it? Do you feel like it's a bit too modern for Sylvania? Do you prefer the older canal boat style? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.